Alright, if all is well, we should be back again in the air. I hope that the issue is not going to come back before the A380 has landed. Once again, the same happened as just now, where I saw that my connection went back to 2G. I'm not sure if anybody is using KPN and had a similar problem, because it was looking exactly the same as what happened earlier in the morning. Back then, people who were also using KPN were experiencing an outage in the connection. And once the connection is gone, I cannot restart the same stream again. The software gives issues. That is why I schedule a new one, which also has a new URL for the live chat, which I then first have to copy paste into my phone. So it's always takes a few minutes to get everything. Jandrosik says it was KPN again. So apologies for the inconvenience, but obviously with the A380 being assigned to this runway and being in Dutch airspace already, I was doing everything I could to get back in the air as quickly as possible for you guys. KPN mobile out in The Hague, Mark says. So yeah, there you go. Again, issues with KPN. Hopefully the line is going to stay intact for the next 10 or so minutes, so that at least we can see the Emirates A380. I really needed to reboot my modem a couple of times. The first time I rebooted it, it didn't give me any G at all. Also, the same thing happened to me the first time after the first outage. And then the second time I had 4G plus once again. So hopefully it's going to stay that way. So yeah, we are in avoidance of the Emirates A380. Looks to become the third airplane to arrive. The wind is still fierce. Let's see if there was a new METAR released after 5 minutes to the hour. It was. And let me show you. The wind is still in the west to southwesterly corner. 21 knots of wind with gusts up to 33 now, so the wind is only getting more gusty and picking up. And the A380 will need to land under these conditions on the runway we are standing next to. So yeah, buckle up guys, this is going to be epic. I hope that they will go around so that we can see it twice. Hopefully everybody who was in the chat earlier is able to find the way back to this stream before the Emirates A380 is going to land here. Welcome back one and all. Apparently KPN is having issues in the Netherlands today. Several users, other users of KPN were also having their internet being down. We are going to stick around. In fact, as long as things keep coming to the Polderbaan, as far as I'm concerned, we are also going to stick around after the A380 has landed. Bear with me says you all has a 1.3k like dance still. Yeah. Well, in fact, there were also likes in the first stream. This is already the third stream of the day. And with the number of likes already given in this this stream, I think the 1500k likes has been reached and crossed over. Let me see if I can do an airplane dance after this. This is KLM flight 1512 arriving from Barcelona. 1 hour 49 minutes on the way. Green light also found the way back to the chat. Good to see ya. Alan, what up mate? Right, that is one airplane dance coming up. Here we go, 1500 likes. Here we go. Do the airplane dance. Yes. There you go. Thank you all so much. And thanks for finding the stream again.
Right, let's quickly turn back
Have a look at the next airplane coming in. It's Han's favorite. Not sure if Han is still here. But here it is, Welling flight 8353 arriving from Valencia. 2 hours and a minute underway. Hey. So 2 hours and a minute underway, and the A380 is turning in somewhere in the background. I think we are unable to see it because of the clouds. Yeah, I don't think that we are able to see the A380 just yet. It should become visible at some point. So this is Welling flight 8353 arriving from Valencia. Alright, it landed. Well, no, we need to have a look, of course, for Han at his favorite place of this airplane. It's the yellow dot, which is still in place. Beautiful to see. Amidst all these other colored dots, just one that is in yellow. Alright, now let's hope that the internet connection will not fail and see if we can see Emirates Flight 147 emerge from the clouds over here. In the meantime, a massive big thank you to Frasro Darshine for your super chat. Thanks for the streams and the dances. You are welcome. There it is, the Emirates A380 Flight 147 arriving from Dubai, 6 hours and 32 minutes underway. It's the A6EOA coming this way. Number 3 on flight radar, tracked by 1,014 people, and not nearly as many people have found their way back to this live stream. That's a pity. They're missing out. The A380 is coming, and we are going to see it land. 6 hours and 33 minutes underway. The gear is out. There it is. 11-year-old airplane, first flight April 2014. Crabbing in with 21 knots of wind and gusts up to 33 now. Gender success, bring it on. It's going around. Would be nice if that were the case, right? Hadi Thea, goedemiddag. yeah, it works again. Apparently another issue at KPN. Other users of KPN reported having outages with their internet as well. So apparently twice now on the same day. Silver lining is that I never heard anybody report hearing crackling, so at least that is an issue no longer there. Right, is it going to land? Is it going to go around? It's crabbing until the very end. Check it out. Yep. Sadly it's not going around, but it is landing here. What a nice street. I guess we'll have to thank ATC for opening up the Schiphol Oostbaan as secondary runway and not the center runway. Only 600 people have made it back into the chat. That's a pity. We had 1,300 plus before. That's 700 people who have missed out on seeing the A380 land. Was a beautiful landing. An unexpected bonus. If it was Paul who did this, he certainly did do a good job. Marco from the future is also back. Lance also made it. Happy to see Schiphol Oostbaan is now open as secondary runway for arrivals. Polderbaan is catering to everything coming in from the east. Yeah, and of course the Emirates A380. Bear With Me has to go. Thank you so much for joining Bear With Me. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday too. So yeah, looking in the direction of the wind, you can see that there is still some clouds, but it's mostly blue sky that is drifting in. There are more clouds further to the south. Looking further to the north, everything is relatively homogeneous. Not sure how much longer it is going to stay dry for, but it looks that we are still having decent weather here. This is KLM flight 1186 and Bro 175 arriving from Christiansand. Alan is also signing off. See you later, Alan. Thanks for stopping by, mate. Now, are we going to see any wide bodies coming in after this? I'm wondering the wide bodies that are coming in from the east, which runway they will be assigned to. It looks like Saudia, the 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Jeddah, is flying more to the north. I'm wondering if Saudia is going to the Polderbaan. Has anybody had a look on Bezoekbas or Omgevingsinfo Schiphol to see what runway Saudia has been assigned to? What runway has Saudia been assigned to? Bombardie net says Polderbaan. Is that in reference to the Saudia Dreamliner? Because there are more wide bodies coming in from the east. And I'm wondering, for instance, the Qatar 777 arriving from Doha, will that also be coming this way? Saudia is coming to the Polderbaan. That's great news. So Oostbaan is a bit too small for those airplanes. They can land probably on it, but under these conditions, maybe they don't want to. Or maybe ATC deems it to be a bit unsafe or a high risk of go-arounds. That works in our favor. That means that the wide bodies that are arriving from the east are additional bonus airplanes that are landing here in addition to everything that is already coming from the west and from the south. Turkish is also coming to the Polderbaan, green light says, so that is absolutely great news. That means that all the wide bodies from the east, arriving from the east, will be assigned to the Polderbaan and will be coming our way. So this is the scale of chimney smoke. It means that only the narrow bodies are going, that are arriving from the east, are going to the Oostbaan. That's good. Turkish is already on the glide slope, I see. The Turkish A330 is now number 3 to land here. Unfortunately, glide slope visibility is still not that great. More fireworks being set off by the bird control. And this is KLM flight 1932, arriving from Geneva. Thea wonders if I will be still around in an hour or so from now. I am not sure, probably not, Thea. I'll probably wrap up between now and 2 o'clock or something. It depends on the traffic that is coming this way. I think there's also Formula One. I can see that we aren't getting many viewers back in again. I think a lot of people are also going to see Formula One. If I recall correctly, it was in Monaco, which I also remember is a very interesting race to see. That is probably going to begin between now and an hour from now. Hey there, John, if you just joined us, you did miss the King. And it is in Monaco, there you go. Max, Super Max, no idea what that means. Sky Express is coming in next, arriving from Athens, flight 790 and A320neo. There you go, the race in Monaco starts. Hey, wait! Glide slope shot, what the fudge? For the first time, we're seeing a second airplane on the glide slope now. That is the Turkish A330 widebody. Sky Express flight 790, 3 hours and 19 minutes it has taken it to get here. Arriving all the way from Athens. Indeed, Jendrosik, only Max here is Max 8 and Max 9 of course. Ambu 2 is on ground, it says here. That's interesting. Ambulance driving on the highway or something? If you look at Flight Radar, to me it says Ambu 2 ground. And it looks like it is somewhere further to the north. Hey, is that somebody filming? It looks like it. More people filming. And right past the arches, the excrement baan arches is a good place to be filming. Hey, thanks for the update there, Aphrodite. Good news indeed. So the Qatar has entered Dutch airspace, has also been assigned to land on this runway. So a few more bonus wide bodies that ordinarily would have gone to the secondary runway. But since the secondary runway for arrivals now is the Oostbaan and it is pretty small, these airplanes are going to come to the Polderbaan. Beautiful. You need to spool them up. We want to hear them. Not idling. Yeah, Turkish Airlines, flight 1957. Landing there with idle reversers. In the meantime, things open up over here. The sun is shining. Means that another time a shady figure can say hi to you. So right now 2 runways are open for arrivals. The Schiphol Oostbaan has also opened up, and that is now secondary runway for arrivals. The wind is blowing firmly from the west-southwest, so it makes sense to open up a runway that is more oriented to the west. Under these conditions, normally they would have opened up runway 27, presumably, probably as primary runway by now because of the wind speed. But since the runway is under maintenance until I think somewhere in September even, they'll need to resort to using other runways instead. Lucky us, because that means that the A380 landed here And we're also going to see a few more wide bodies. In the meantime, a massive big thank you to Matus Corpo, aka Willem, for your super chat and for your kind words. Hi boy and clan, thanks for all the great work. Have a great Sunday to all. Stay sane and keep smiling. It's just a ride. Mucho amor, Willem. Willem, thank you so much for your kind and upbeat words. That is a good life philosophy, to take it easy and not be too serious about stuff. I will definitely do that. Thank you so much for your kind words and for your donation, of course. Next up is Air France and Embraer 190 arriving from Paris. Tippy-toey. Ooh. Tippy-toey, but there you go. It did land. Sticks the landing, which is interesting. Only one go-around thus far. We weren't able to see the go-around. It already happened when the airplane was still above the cloud deck. It was an Air France that went around, coincidentally. Jane is also leaving. Thank you for stopping by, Jane. Hope to see you again soon. Hadi Klaartje, goedemiddag. Good to see you again. That was a tippy-toey landing, and we also saw a very tippy-toey landing by a KLM 777-300ER. Was arriving this morning from Cape Town, South Africa. I will make a separate video out of that one once I get home after the stream. Dukman says, no, don't tell me that the stream is buffering again. Hadi Stoof, goeiedag. Yeah, Dans, Cape Town lies in South. You're right. You're absolutely right. Air France, Air France, Air France. Next up, Air France flight 1740, arriving from Paris. Interesting. 2 consecutive Air Frances. Look at it leaning in. Oh. Yeah. Down boy. Bienvenue à Pays-Bas. Airbaget Tower, which is next to Amsterdam Amstel station. But I'm not seeing any airplanes going to Schiphol Oost, so let's turn around and have a look at the crabbing arrivals over here. This is KLM flight 1420 arriving from Nantes, Embraer 190, 1 hour and 6 minutes on the way. One hour and 6 minutes on the way. 14-year-old airplane, first flight August 2010. Oh dear, were we having connection issues again? Alrighty, let's see. This is one of the bonus wide bodies that ordinarily would have gone to the secondary runway, but today we'll be landing here. Saudi Air flight 215 arriving from Jeddah. 7879 Dreamliner, 5 hours and 40 minutes ago it left from Jeddah. It is the Hazara. Going shopping in Hazara? Maybe, maybe not. The airplane is 9 years old. First flight January 2016. A small blip, right? Well, to those of you who say, shouldn't you switch? I have been using KPN since the inception of the channel, so only now is this happening today for a couple of times. It has proven to be a very reliable provider. Otherwise, the whole stream, the whole period I have been streaming via this live channel, I have been using KPN. Almost never let me down. Every channel, every provider will have its hiccups at times. I'm not convinced that switching will improve things. This is already a very reliable and one of the best providers in the Netherlands. But thank you for thinking along. It is a bit difficult today. Maybe it also happened last week. This is Saudi flight 215 and it is landing here. Qatar is also coming this way. Another bonus wide body that would have landed on the secondary runway but now will come this way. It's using its reversers, but unfortunately due to the sun shining and the wind blowing constantly and other airplanes having used the reversers earlier in the morning, there's no more moisture on the runway left to throw up and get spray from. There is an airplane that should be flying right next to me, almost overhead. KLM flight 792 777 arriving from Sao Paulo. Pilot EHAM says that they're also reporting on the website that they're having issues with 4G and 5G. So yeah, there you go. The airplane, the 777 passing overhead, is flying at 7,000 feet and I think we ought to be able to see it. It's flying relatively close by. Once it clears the air, I think we ought to be able to see it. Or has it passed already? Really annoying, because we ought to be able to see it. Triple seven on its downwind leg at 7,000 feet. And for some reason invisible in blue sky. That's interesting. In that case, let's just turn around. We'll see it soon enough though. This is KLM flight 902 arriving from Inverness in Scotland. Alan Lee is tuning in from the northeast of England. Me, I am doing well, thank you for asking. Hope that also goes for you, my friend. Frustrating. There ought to be a 777-300ER in the sky somewhere, not too far away, flying at 7,000 feet, and it should have been visible. But we weren't able to see it. Qatar 777 arriving from Doha is also coming this way. Let's see what other wide bodies are still coming this way. So the 777 arriving from Sao Paulo, we weren't able to see it, but it is flying downwind now and it should be coming this way. Let's see. Don't see any other wide bodies coming to the Netherlands on short notice right after the Qatar and the 777 arriving from Sao Paulo have landed. Over there we have Ryanair flight 3100, that's a 737-800 arriving from Dublin, Ireland. Martijn says that KPN is migrating some of their core network components, so some disconnects unfortunately can happen. I think that's what we have been experiencing now 2 times. I will tell you in advance that if I am going to get another error like this, I am going to definitively wrap up for today. I'm not coming back for a fourth stream. This will be the last stream, but I hope I am going to be able to end it the normal way when it is that time. For now, we're sticking around. We have two wide bodies that are coming in still. KLM flight 792 that we didn't see on the downwind leg, even though we were looking against a blue backdrop. And Qatar Cargo is also coming in from the other side, from the west, from the east. That's lucky for us. Normally speaking, we wouldn't have been able to see the Qatar land here. It would have gone to what normally would have been the secondary runway if the wind wasn't so fierce, center, or if it wasn't under repair, under maintenance, buiten Polderbaan, runway 0927. That's out of commission, and that's our lucky break, because that means that the Oostbaan is now the east-west most oriented runway that isn't being used for departures. Of course, runway 24 is now in use for departures with this wind. But it is too small for the wide bodies. That's our lucky break. Ryanair landed, and unfortunately they didn't use the reversers at all. That's a pity, because often they do. When they do spool up those reversers, even those dime in a dozen 737s will get loud. This is KLM flight 1032 arriving from Persenchester. Hey, and we are also seeing another Bombardier C-Series 100 from ITA on the downwind leg on flight radar. I'm looking to my left to see if I can see it, but still not seeing anything. Are you seeing it? Nope. We're both scanning the sky here. And I say I'm talking about the lad who was looking a bit frightened when I was doing my airplane dance. He was walking up right as I was doing the 1500 likes airplane dance. He's still standing here. We're also looking around. We weren't able to see the 777 either. However, it is turning in now and should be arriving after the A321. And I wonder, will we be able to see it maybe over there? When these airplanes turn in, oh wait, no, it's already turned in. It should be coming back a little bit, because it looks like it overshot the glide slope a little. I'm making the shot a bit more wide. I'm even trying to see if crouching behind my laptop, looking at the screen on a bigger screen, allowed me to see the 777. The answer is no. And now we do see it, yeah, of course. First up, let's have a look at this landing. KLM flight 1032, arriving from Persenchester. Doop, doop. Tiptoe. There you go. Job well done. Little bit of reverser application. The gear is already out. The triple is already crabbing like hell. Air China Cargo is 30 minutes out. Aphrodite says, where is it coming from? And what type of airplane is it? This is KLM flight 792. It is arriving from Sao Paulo. That is in Latin America. And you know what other country lies there? You're goddamn right. KLM flight 792 has been flying now for 10 hours and 42 minutes to get here. Maria is signing off. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Maria. Maybe we'll see you again tomorrow. That would be terrific. Sleep tight and see you later. Shanghai Boeing 777. Right. Thank you, Aphrodite. Is that the next wide body? Hey there, Jacob Double, and welcome to the show, all others. Laura also signing off. Thank you, Laura, for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope to see you again tomorrow, and if not, then hopefully see you again later in the week, when we also have Pentecost on Thursday. Hopefully we'll be able to do a next stream after tomorrow, but first another stream tomorrow. The weather for tomorrow seems to be quite favorable. A dry day expected. Oh, it's reversing. Oh, Ascension, yeah, you're right. You're right, Frank. Howdy, Tom. Tom says there are another two 777 25-ish minutes out. The Qatar Cargo again and the KLM coming from the other direction. Yeah. And also KLM Asia from Rio. Where is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, it is in Dutch airspace already. Definitely worthwhile sticking around for them. Now we have two airplanes crabbing here on the glide slope. Looks like a parallel arrival, bus says. Indeed. They are in line, but they look like they are flying parallel to one another just because of the crabbing angle. A quick touchdown there. I am curious. It is 1:38 now. The meter of 125 must have been released a while back now. Let's have another look and see what the meter says. Now it's a constant 24 knots of wind. The wind is not slowing down. It only picks up. It turns a little bit more to the west. It started a bit more like this, and now it has transitioned a bit more to the west. Lucky us that runway 0927 is out of commission. Otherwise, it would have become the primary runway, and I think, well, yeah, and this would have become the secondary runway. Let me quickly paste the meter in the ticker. So we now have 24 knots of crosswind, and that means beautiful crabbing airplanes. Howdy Jorn, goedemiddag. So we're now looking at Qatar flight 273, a bonus landing that otherwise would have gone to the secondary runway, but since the Oostbaan is too short, landing here. 777-300 6 hours and 8 minutes. Oh, also tippy-toey. Not as tippy-toey as the KLM 777s from this morning. In the second stream we saw that, I think. Yeah, it was in the second stream. I'll make a separate video out of that one later today. Next up, ITA Airways, Bombardier C-Series 100. The prettiest livery with the prettiest airplane, or at least one of the. There she is. And there is another airplane behind it already. What say you? Yeah, indeed. We can see the second airplane beautifully at the 10 o'clock of ITA. ITA is flying in the foreground, and a KLM A321neo is now next. KLM flight 1006. That's in the top left, and in the bottom right we see ITA Airways flight 114 arriving from Milan. Bombardier C-Series 100 crabbing over to the Polderbaan here. The wind is fierce, but the sun is shining. It's also not very cold. It's a day of contrasts. Of course, the morning arrivals were accompanied with spray on occasion, particularly the wide bodies. We've seen some beautiful applications of reversers during spray-like conditions. And just look at this beautiful machine. Absolutely gorgeous, particularly when the sun is shining. And have you guys seen all the details that you can see on the tail and on the backside of the fuselage? In the meantime, Donald... Wait, no, that's a different Donald. So we have one Donald over there, who is just chilling. Is Daisy there as well? I don't think that there is a lady duck over there. And if you look closely, another Donald is over there. KLM A321 Neo. Right, let's see what else is in the pipeline. 4 narrow bodies by the looks of it, and then a 777-200 arriving from Rio. Two airplanes visible on the glide slope. Ordinarily we should be able to see 3. The third one should be a bit lower than the second one at its 7 o'clock-ish. Air China Cargo 777 has been assigned to the Polderbaan. That's good news. It means it is in Dutch airspace. Now, Thea, if you are still there, what time did you say your son will arrive? Because it is already a bit further in time, and there is a slow trickle of interesting airplanes that are still coming to the Polderbaan, so it's worthwhile sticking around a bit longer. Jacob Double says, bro, that wind is crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. It's 24 knots of crosswind that we are having right now. EasyJet is arriving from London Gatwick. That's an A320neo. Bit further ahead. And don't be afraid, this is just fireworks by the bird control being set off. Another airplane visible in the background. It's opening up. What the fudge? Ah, thank you, Thea. Looks like an ambulance in the background on the highway. That yellow vehicle. The bird busters are coming, indeed. Still, Donald over here doesn't give a quack. Mother Ducker be chilling and relaxing. Hey, goeiedag. Ja hoor, zeker. Met jullie ook? Ja, mooi man. Beelden van 28 januari. Durf ik niet uit mijn hoofd te zeggen. Dan zou je echt eventjes moeten kijken in mijn catalogus van livestreams. Ja? Ik weet het niet uit mijn hoofd. Op YouTube. Het staat op de pet. Iberia Express is coming in next. Flight 1793 arriving from Madrid. A320-200, the EC Mach. This airplane has been flying for 1 hour and 58 minutes now. It is a 17-year-old airplane. First flight October 2017. "42 minutes," Thea says. So that's an ETA of 2:30 or something. Oh! Ooh, second one almost looking like it was going to go around. Ah! I'll have to see, look that up in replay again. Might be worthwhile. Might be worth a separate video. Okay, so apparently I didn't do a stream back then. I don't know. It's the same when people ask me, will you be doing a stream on then and then date? I don't know for sure. I never know for sure. I definitely don't know everything I did from memory. But you can look it up. Let's see, Vueling is coming in next, and after that KLM flight 706 arriving from Rio de Janeiro. That's 777-200. That's number 2. Hans' favorite Vueling is coming in next. Not sure if Han is still in the chat, but there you go. Hans' favorite Vueling flight 8365. Things are shuddering so much. I am going to lock the tilt axis again. 2 hours and 31 minutes away from Malaga. The airplane is 10 years old. First flight April 2015.
Jerry is
In the meantime, a warm welcome to Mark zijn spamzender. And thanks for the kind words, mate. Glad that you are enjoying the content. Hope that goes for everybody. Normally I would say, don't forget to leave a like, but you guys already left likes massively in the second stream. More than 1,000. This is just gravy. The dot is still in place. Let's turn around. KLM flight 702. It's crabbing its way over here. 777-200 arrived from Rio de Janeiro. That's in Latin America, and we all know what other country lies there. Ecuador! Exactly right. Flight time 10 hours and 41 minutes. The airplane is 20 years old. The registration is the Papa Hotel Bravo Quebec Kilo. First flight was in January 2005. I think my car is also from 2005. 20 years old almost. It is now 9 minutes to 2. Normally, come 2 o'clock, the secondary runway for arrivals will close. And we're back to one runway for arrivals. I'm also hearing stuff passing by overhead. I'm looking up. See if maybe I was able to spot something. Not completely cloudy, but also not completely open. It is an interesting line in the sky right now that you're seeing to the south of us. Over here it is more open, but looking to the southeast, and here you can see also higher up in the sky a clear difference between close by and further away. Alright, we have a Chinese 777 arriving from Shanghai that is now flying towards Horn. And we are also seeing a Qatar on flight radar that is traversing over the Gulf of Yorkshire and is approaching from the west. We will have to wait a few more moments before the next arrivals are coming, and that gives me time to have a look on internet. Have a look. Let's see what the wind has been doing. The meter is from 1325, so that is still the latest meter. The meter will get renewed again come 155. This is the website called Bezoekbus. It's bezoekbus.nl, and if you go to it on the homepage you will find Dutch. If you're not speaking Dutch, this is the square you need to go to. Runway use. Here it says expected runway use in Dutch. You can also translate the website into English. Press here and you will see what is expected. A bit of warning about the weather and also about the closure of Polderbaan runway 0927 because of maintenance. And here you will see the expected runway use for inbound and outbound traffic for the next couple of hours. Looking at the Dutch Met Office website, showers are forming, land inward, and also over the North Sea. I'm not sure if we're going to stay completely dry for the remainder of the afternoon, but for the remainder of the duration of the stream, I think things look good. And Suparna is approaching. Suparna Airlines. That might be a nice last airplane of the show, wouldn't it? Stick around for another 50 minutes or so. There are more airplanes of interest, wide bodies coming in already, so if you guys are up for it, I am also up for it. We never did reach the 1K plus viewers again after the second outage, which is a shame because we were able to catch the landing of the Emirates A380 over here. We are seeing 3 wide bodies that are now making their way over here to the Polderbaan. The Qatar should already be flying over there somewhere, and a KLM arriving from Las Vegas should be approaching over there. I'm pretty confident that if I know exactly where I need to look, I would be able to show you where it is flying. I thought for a moment I saw something in the vicinity of the radio tower, but a bit more. I thought for a moment I saw something. Yeah, no. For a brief moment I thought I saw a glimpse of the Qatar, it must have been. Air China cargo arriving from Shanghai is approaching, and it is approaching from the east. Question is, can we pick it up already? I think we ought to be able to see it, if only I know exactly where I need to point the camera. It's opened up quite nicely, as you guys can see, at least to the north. And we have a visual. Now a little cloud in the foreground, in the way. But there you go. That's Air China cargo arriving from Shanghai in China. Duns is signing off. If you're still around, thank you for joining Duns. Hopefully see you again tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, then later in the weekend, next week. I think we might get to see 3 consecutive triples. Bird control is setting off some fireworks in the meantime. Happy New Year. There it is. Question now becomes, can I find... Yeah, the answer is yes. I already answered my question before I was done formulating it. Would I be able to see it again, to find it again? The gear is extending. Air China Cargo, 777 freighter. Still clouds in the way temporarily. We are going to see 3 consecutive 777s. 30 more minutes before Thea's son is arriving from Delhi. And I just decided that I think I'm going to stick around until the 747 from Suparna has landed here, since that is also not too far out again and is also probably going to come this way. For those of you wondering, let's have a look on flight radar one more time. There it is, already coming this way. ETA of 2:45. A nice, a veritable, a good fitting last airplane for today's show. And thank you, Paul, for letting Dustin know where to find the METAR. The TAF is also very interesting. The TAF is the weather the expected weather shown on an hour per hour basis. So 3 777s in a row. I was about to say 3 777-300s, but that's not right. It's 2 freighters and 1 200. Back to back, coming this way. Hadi Anja, goedemiddag. Let me also have a quick look and see what the status quo is with respect to the battery of my... Oh, I think it is my DJI mic transmitter that is now running low. The receiver is still okay, but the transmitter is running low, so I do have a second one with me. I am going to quickly reach in my duffel bag to get the transmitter out, and I'm going to swipe out DJI mic transmitters. Three 777s. We're walking into Schiphol Airport. It sounds like the beginning of a joke. Alright, I'm signing off and signing back on again with a new fresh mobile transmitter. Testing 1 2 1 2, testing 1 2 1 2. If all is well, the voiceover should be crisp and audible again. I just switched to a second transmitter. The receiver looks to be still okay. It is running low, but not yet crucially low, so we should be able to get a few more minutes out of it. Air China Cargo Flight 1039 arriving from Shanghai in China. 10 hours and 44 minutes it has taken it to get here. Audio is fine. Thanks for the feedback, boss. Nicely using the reverser there. Wolfgang signing off. Thank you so much for joining, Wolfgang. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day, mate. In the meantime, let's quickly turn back. 2 more triples are coming. There they are. Qatar 777 freighter is next. Qatar Airways flight 8151 arriving from Chicago O'Hare.
Politie komt ook even mee plane spotten.
Ja, tuurlijk. The police is also parked right here behind me, also having a look at the airplanes that are coming in. I think it is still Officer Rudolph and his mate, still on patrol. Their shift probably hasn't ended yet. Nor has mine. We're continuing. What a show, what a sight to behold. Two 777s back to back. This is Qatar Cargo Flight 8151, the Alpha 7 Bravo Foxtrot Delta, 13 years old, first flight March 2012. Arriving from Chicago, 7 hours and 19 minutes it has taken to get here. Hans is signing off, it's MotoGP time. Enjoy, Hans. Maybe see you again tomorrow. Me, I'm going to stick around until Suparna has landed. And after that, I'll leave you to the MotoGP and Formula 1. Gary is also back. Good to see Gary. Hope your lunch date went well. Third consecutive 777. This is KLM flight 636 arriving from Las Vegas. It is a 777-200 the PHBQO Bravo Quebec Oscar. The airplane is 18 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in January 2007. Bird control in the background. Standing on the ground. Razor 013 is also saying goodbye. Thanks for stopping by, Razor. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you soon. It looks like everything coming into Schiphol once again is coming to the Polderbaan. A young lad with a remote control car is also passing by here. Thought I heard something. Looked to the side, it was a little car. Okay, nice. Very controlled. And even a wheelie to boot. Chapeau, well done, hats off to you. You have to bear in mind though, folks, we are still getting a lot of wind here, even though you might not hear it that well because a lot of the wind noise gets mitigated by the blimp that I am using. E2 Embraer arriving from Trondheim next. Let's have a quick look and see what the wind has been doing, because last time we checked the meter was saying 24 knots of wind. It's slowing down one whole knot. It's now 23 knots. The wind is blowing from a little bit north of directly west and still west-southwest. It's clearing up. 17 few clouds at 1700 feet. The air temperature, that's the interesting thing. It's blowing like mad, but it is 18 degrees Celsius. That is approximating 70 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. There we go. Back again with the latest meter. And an A320 from Royal Jordanian is arriving from Amman. That is now number 2 to arrive. Beautiful livery. Hey, zie je later man. Fijne dag nog. Wel thuis. Tot ziens. Doeg. The young lad is on his way, and it was Officer Rudolph and his mate who were also standing here. Hey there, Robert. Good to see you, mate. Chat once again functional for you, I see. Aphrodite needs to go. Thank you for joining, Aphrodite. See you later. Now, let's see. I see that Thea's son on flight 872 from KLM is arriving and is in Dutch airspace already. The Suparna Airlines 747 arriving from Nanjing in China is still in German airspace, but is also coming this way. I'm sticking around until it has landed, if my internet will allow me to, of course. Frank says, lucky they didn't find your vodka. Absolutely right. I don't have much left. Let me take another sip of it before it gets really warm. Vodka is supposed to stay cool. We weren't supposed to have any sunshine here today, damn it. What's up with that? It was supposed to be just wind. Another KLM E2 Embraer 195. I'm still surprised by the fact that we haven't seen a single go-around in today's show. There was one, but we didn't see it. It did happen, but it went around before the airplane was visible through the clouds. It was back in the morning and it was one of the Air France's arriving from Paris. Not sure of the flight number anymore. Thought it might be 1640, but don't pin me down on that. So yeah, for those of you who are still around, my plan is to stick around until the Suparna Airlines 747, which is now arriving and is flying in the north of Germany. It's expected around 2:45 p.m. local time. You can find that in the bottom of your, on the left-hand bottom, the left bottom corner of your screen. Plan is also to go out for a stream tomorrow, probably like normal in the morning hours. The wind isn't expected to change significantly, so I am expecting more crosswindy arrivals for a third consecutive day here at the Polderbaan. Very true words there, Bas. Dutch weather is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you are going to get. What we are getting now is Royal Air Jordanian, arriving from Amman. Amman. It's arriving from Amman. That's how I always used to learn those two countries below Saudi Arabia on the Saudi Arabian Peninsula. One was Amman and the other was yeah man. Now this is coming from Jordan. Amman. Amman. Slightly different sound. 4 hours and 44 minutes underway. It is an A320 that is now 13 years old. First flight was in September 2011. I'll see what I can do, Thea. With the wind, it is hard to make really tight close-ups because the wind is constantly causing the camera to shake, despite all the precautionary measures. If it goes back and forth like so, and that's also not that's also not desirable. I'll do my best, Thea. Let's see what we can make of it. For instance, if I zoom in, you need to be lucky when there is no gust. You can kind of sort of get a close-up. Next up is KLM flight 1990, arriving from Ljubljana in Slovenia. Let's also have a look and see what the wind on the scale of windsock looks like. You can see Viagra is still very much in the sky. That's a pretty erect windsock. The next arrival here on the Polderbaan is going to be KLM flight 1990. That's number 190. Arriving from Ljubljana in Slovenia. Not to confuse with Slovakia, which sometimes people do. One hour and 33 minutes on the way. Goedemiddag, vliegtuig Schiphol. So this is KLM flight 1990, 1 hour and 33 minutes on the way, Embraer 190, 15-year-old airplane, first flight March 2010. And an EasyJet A319 arriving from Celiac City is next. It might give you the cramps if you're gluten intolerant, so if you are, look away. It's not this airplane yet, but the next one after that, that will possibly give you the cramps if you are gluten intolerant. E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Firenze or Florence is arriving from the east. The wind is not calming down yet. Considering the amount of crosswind that there is right now, I am absolutely flabbergasted that almost all of these airplanes landed in one go. Some of them were a bit iffy. If I recall correctly, Iberia Express and the KLM 777 arriving from Cape Town. Big picture overview, things look open to the north, a bit more cloudy to the west, also a bit more cloudy to the east, and also cloudy to the south. But there's definitely openness in the sky, as you guys can see. The most open skies right now are to the north. The glide slope background is actually bluest of the whole sky around me right now. Is the chat still working or is everybody half asleep? I see hardly any updates in the chat. Is the stream still live? Are we still in the air? Just checking. We've had so many internet connections before already. Usually I do get notifications of buffering in the live chat when that happens. Still working? Okay, yeah, cool. Yo, Alvin is in the chat. What up, mate? What are you doing here? Good to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Donald is having a washy. Stacy is also still there. Perfect, perfect. There's a phenomenon called which I like to call live chat fatigue, where at some point the people are watching but there's hardly any interaction in live chat, as if everybody already said what they wanted to say, if all the jokes have already been made. But sometimes it's all quiet because I'm still streaming under the assumption that we have a live connection and the connection has died. Aphrodite is already back. Good to see ya. Chat, you bastards, Frank says. Indeed. As if your lives depend on it. Nah. It's perfectly fine if you guys don't chat, but I'm just curious if it is still working. But it is. So we're in the wait-ins of a few airplanes of interest that are still coming in. There's also a wide body coming in from the west now. KLM flight 686 arriving from Mexico. That is a 777-200. The Suparna 747 has entered into Dutch airspace. That will be today's last airplane. For those of you joining later, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live, and we have had wind all day and internet issues. This is the third stream that I am starting. Apparently my provider is doing a migration of certain vital components, and outages have been reported to happen also on the website of the provider itself, is what we learned later. Means that this is now the third stream of the day, all named the same because in the hurry, in the haste, I just copy pasted everything. We also broke through records in likes, 1,000 likes and 3 airplane dances. We even broke through 1,500 likes, although they are dispersed now over 3 streams. Thea's son is arriving in KLM flight 872, arriving from Delhi, which is also in Dutch airspace already. If you were gluten intolerant, you'll be excused for a few minutes to go to the toilet if you are getting cramps. Meanwhile, a massive big thank you to Alvin, who also went ahead just now gifting 5 memberships. A warm welcome to the 5 new members. Don't forget to say thank you to Alvin if you are one of the recipients of one of his gifted memberships. Alvin, mate, thank you so much for your generosity. Welcome to the Aurora Skylines members. If all is well, tomorrow I shall be doing another stream. Wasn't able to do a stream on Thursday because of appointments that I couldn't reschedule. The weather is expected to be similar to what it is today. In other words, wind from the west to southwest, pretty fierce. So crosswind arrivals part 3 are expected. Alvin thought to turn up uncharacteristically early into a stream. Yeah, as you always do. That's how we've come to know you. I hope that my voiceover mic is still going to continue working. Let me also put in the USB-C cable in the receiver. We should be able to make it until the end there with that. That's the downside of the DJI mic. Two major downsides, 3.5mm jacks, which I suspect were the cause of the crackling that we heard earlier in the week. Second downside, working on batteries, and that means you either have to charge them on the fly or replace them or anything. Still, got a full battery on my laptop, and that means I can use that USB-C cable to put that in the DJI mic receiver, which was running a little low. I'm being very careful here with the 3.5mm connections because these are very sensitive to crackling. I hope you guys are now still hearing the audio as it was before. No crackling, no nothing, no interference. If that is the case, we are able to continue streaming with voice over mic without any problems in the foreseeable future. The receiver is being charged, the transmitter I already replaced. The set comes with 2. We're waiting for traffic to arrive. I think Egypt Air is going to be the next airplane to arrive from Cairo. It is an A321neo. And the only moment where you need to throw in the water, Lisa, is after you have fried the onions. Then you add the water, then you add in the herbs, then you add in the sausage, the vegetarian sausage and the brown beans, and then you let it simmer. Right, the airplanes are dancing in the sky around Schiphol Airport and are slowly but surely going to come this way. In the meantime, where was that message? Where was that message? Here is that message. Alvin, celebrating 24 months of membership, finally blue. Mate, thank you so much for your support, not only as a member, but also as a moderator. 24 months and counting. Upwards and onwards. I hope you still like being a mod. I hope you still like being a member. If either of the two is no longer to your liking, hit me up. And let me see what I can do then to fix it. In the meantime, also a big thank you from Daisy Duck, who is also saying, wah, wah, thank you, Alvin, wah, wah, for all the support. Wah, wah. Aphrodite says that Suparna has been assigned to Polderbaan. As expected, that's the last airplane of today's show. Suparna Airways 747. What better way to wrap up today's show than with a 747 landing here on the Polderbaan? And yes to both. I'm happy to hear that, Alvin. So, this is Egypt Air, flight 757. It's not a Boeing 757, but it is an A321neo. Left Cairo in Egypt 4 hours and 20 minutes ago. The airplane is 2 years old, first flight May 2023. Jeffrey wonders if his packages from TMU are already landing. No, but they are in Dutch airspace and should be landing pretty soon. Give it a few more moments. It's expected in 20 minutes from now. Mummy arrival indeed, Ari. Took a little while before we were able to see her. General success, finally done migrating my fish tank. One more coffee for the end of the show. Yeah, be quick. It's getting gusty here. You can also see the A321neo leaning into the wind a bit more shortly before decrabbing. Remarkably though, all airplanes that we have featured on the show have landed in one go. There has been one go around, but it went around back while we were still having a ceiling and clouds at relatively low levels in the sky. And the go around already took place before the airplane was visible. Here, two airplanes are visible. We have a glide slope shot, KLM flight 1476 arriving from Nice in the foreground, which is nice. KLM flight 686 arriving from Mexico after that. That's a 777-200. Land like an Egyptian, indeed. The airplane is now third to arrive. They're turning in. We can see them in the bottom of the screen, only barely. If you look closely, you can see it. There is the 787-10. That's the flight arriving from Delhi in India. So yeah, a 3 airplane glide slope shot. Where is Jerry Donnelly? We haven't seen him in a couple of days. He did post comments below my community posts earlier in the week. But he has been missing out on beautiful glide slope shots and crabbing airplanes. Delta Airlines Flight 164 arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota is also approaching. More wide bodies coming in. When an Egyptian lands, you should switch to 2D. Indeed. Hieroglyph style. This is KLM flight 1476 arriving from Nice, which is nice. 1 hour and 37 minutes. It has been flying here. Flying to get here, I should say. More properly. Right, so if it's not too gusty, close-ups should be feasible, Thea. Let's see if we can also film the cockpit, see if we can see your son. Would be nice though if he were to wave. So yeah, look on flight radar, you can see multiple wide bodies are approaching. Nice little high note to end the stream with. Last airplane for today's show will be the Suparna, but I will be back again tomorrow. The weather doesn't seem to change that much, except no rain is expected, at least when I checked last time this morning. More of the same, crosswindy arrivals. The wind isn't expected to change in direction significantly, nor is it expected to reduce in speed significantly. So I'm hoping for more of the same, only with a stable internet connection. That's the only thing I would want to change. Well, you're right, Thea. Until they have landed, they are working hard, but we have seen several first officers waving to us on occasion when they actually already touched down and were rolling out. So who knows? Maybe we'll get to see that. For now, this is KLM Flight 686 arriving from Mexico City. That is a 777-200 the PHBQG. Now Mexico, that's in the middle of the Americas, and you know what other country lies a bit further to the south of that? Ecuador! You're goddamn right, that is Ecuador. Oh, contrail in the sky, contrail in the sky, there we go. What is it? It looks like a Dreamliner of sorts. The first and only contrail in today's show. Yeah, there you go. Alright, this is KLM Flight 872. With Thea's son as co-pilot, as first officer. Returning from Delhi in India. Flight 872, it's a 787 Dreamliner. Flying for 8 hours and 10 minutes now to get here. The PHBKH Bravo Kilo Hotel. This particular airplane is 5 years old. First flight was in May 2020. Okay, going in floaty. Yeah, nice. Wonder who was the pilot flying, and that was a superb landing. Indeed, Gary, it was a flying AMS Live logo. Absolutely it was. Before the chat gets adrift too far, let me quickly massively thank Robert Spearman for your super sticker. Bear character doing a shaka sign with his hand saying cool. Mate, thank you so much for the support and for your generosity. Let me quickly turn back. That was him, Thea says. There you go. With the wind, doing close-ups is a bit difficult. I hope it was good enough. In the meantime, Suparna is in Dutch airspace. It's traversing Markermeer. The airplane that you see just left of right of center is the Embraer 190 arriving from Marseille. A 737 for KLM, a bit more vaguely visible over there. That is arriving from Warsaw. And I think this ought to be the Delta arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Beautiful wide body. They're all crabbing as it is still pretty windy here today. Hey there, John. Good afternoon. And welcome to the show, one and all. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. These are crabby arrivals at windy Polderbaan. More of this tomorrow. KLM flight 1466 is landing here, arriving from Marseille in France. An hour and 36 minutes it has taken this airplane to get here. KLM flight 1314 is arriving next, arriving from Warsaw in Poland. 1 hour and 36 minutes on the way. It's a 737-800, the PHBXM Bravo X-ray Mike. 24-year-old airplane, first flight November 2000. Now, Amethyst, thank you so much for your very generous super chat there. Amethyst writes in Dutch, good luck with the live stream, and Jason, well done. I'm pretty sure that there is an in-crowd who knows the significance of that message. Jason, well done. And Amethyst, thank you so much for your super chat and for your kindness and for your kind words. What a lot of crab, indeed, Frank. But the BXM has landed here. Now this time for Delta to show its worth. Delta Airlines arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. There it is, still crabbing as if its life depends on it. KLM, Delta Airlines flight 164, arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's the November 820 November Whiskey. The airplane is 17 years old, first flight August 2007. These are the money shots. For those of you who have time, feel free to join tomorrow. We'll do another live stream tomorrow. Probably in the morning hours, local morning hours. The wind isn't expected to change. It's expected to stay dry. I'm expecting more arrivals at Polderbaan tomorrow. More crabby arrivals. Lucky us that runway 0927 is still closed for maintenance. Under conditions like these, that runway would have opened up and would probably serve as primary runway, since we have crosswind now upwards of 20 knots. It's our lucky break that the runway is closed and that they are now opting for the Schiphol Oostbaan as secondary runway or as primary runway perhaps tomorrow. Means that Polderbaan is going to be one of the two runways for inbound traffic, and that is good news because the Schiphol Oostbaan is not long enough for the A380, and as we saw, also not for a lot of wide bodies arriving from the east, so I feel optimistic that tomorrow's stream is also going to be another beautiful one. We're still here because our last airplane hasn't landed yet. Suparna is going to be the last airplane of today's show. It's arriving from Nanjing in China and is now flying in the vicinity of Purmerend. With Jandrusik and Lorenzo, I earlier established that Purmerend is in line with the scale of chimney smoke chimneys. So if it is already a bit further to the left, maybe, just maybe, but there are also clouds there, as you guys can see. Maybe, just maybe, we are able to see it. I don't think that we are going to be so lucky today. No. Sadly not. Let's keep the focus then on what we can see, and that is the penultimate airplane of today's show, I think. Or is there more coming? No. It's the 747 that is going to be next. KLM flight 1678 arriving from Naples, Napoli in Italy. the PHHSD, which I think was belonging to Transavia earlier in life. Hey there, Kiki Diablos. And indeed, Petrikov still live. This is the second to last airplane landing here after 2 hours and 17 minutes of flight. The PHHSD, 14 years old, first flight March 2011. Right, now, looking to the left, to the west, more cloudiness. So I'm not sure, I'm not fully convinced that we are going to stay dry here for the remainder of the day. Suparna is turning in somewhere further north. Where is it? I'm now slowly scanning. Ah, there it is. It's the last airplane of today's show, ladies and gentlemen. Suparna Airlines flight 87411. Arriving from Nanjing in China. A 747-400 freighter. Number 5, a flight radar tracked by 622 people. I thought we had more viewers than that. Rookie numbers. This Suparna 747 took 10 hours and 31 minutes to get here from Nanjing in China. The gear is already down. The airplane is 17 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in July 2007. Yeah, it's about time to lock the tilt axis again. It reduces the vibration a little bit. Suparna Airlines, flight 87411, arriving from Nanjing in China. Registration Bravo 1340. Clouds are drifting in. The sky looks a bit more ominous now looking to the west. I'm not sure. Without getting the screen in, I am going and looking on the website of... Oh yeah, showers are coming. Showers are coming. It's the weather gods confirming that it is the right time to stop the stream after today's hiccups. QJ, are you only returning just now? Oh man, that is a pity. Another stream for more than an hour since the A380 landed here. This is the third episode. Unfortunately, we were having 1,300 or so viewers before the second breakup, and most of them never returned. It's a pity. They missed out. Looking on the weather radar, more showers are drifting in from the west. This seems to be the first omen of it, so yeah. Last airplane, after it lands, time to go. Indeed, Frank, not functioning gears will leave you in tears. Right. This is going to be the last airplane for today's show, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For those of you who stuck through the 3 parts, it was a tremendous day. I enjoyed it very much. I hope you guys did too. Don't forget to leave a like in episode number 3 if you did like what you have seen so far. Duck, yeah. Really applying the reversers there. Suparna Airlines not letting us down. The last airplane of the show. Now, for those of you who have time, don't forget to join us tomorrow. I'll announce another stream for tomorrow tonight. If all is well, it should be starting at the normal time. I'm expecting more crosswindy arrivals on Polderbaan tomorrow morning. So if you are capable of joining us, by all means, please do so. For now, it is time to wrap up. A massive, massive, massive big thank you for all of you for sticking out here with me. A massive big thank you to everybody who joined in the very, very generous gifting of memberships today. It was stupendous. Thank you all so much once again. I hope that everybody who received a gifted membership today or earlier will thank the gifter, even if you don't know who it was. Also a big, big thank you to everybody else who donated via PayPal or via Super Chats and Super Stickers. Thank you all so much. I had a blast. I hope you guys did too. Mods, thank you all so much for joining me here and keeping the stream and chat friendly and accessible to all. I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Be safe, stay warm, and see you all tomorrow. Bye for now, guys. Take care.